And one thing about it, we will never see SJP's breasts, okay? One thing's for certain, two things for sure. My girl had on a bra, all right? She's like, you're never gonna get it.
To be or not to be, not.
Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Bria Van Kooten, and welcome back to Discussion the Show. Like I said, I will be here to talk about And Just Like That Season 2. We had Episode 1 and Episode 2 released today. Yes, I watched both episodes, and I'm here to talk about it. I talked about the whole of Season 1. If you guys want to check out those videos, I will link it throughout the cards. This season, I'm not going to talk about the whole entire season. I'm probably going to talk about these two episodes, and then I'm going to talk about the last episode, which Samantha's supposed to be on. So I'm gonna do these two episodes and then the last episode, and then basically recap the whole season in that video. If you don't know and you haven't been watching this channel, I freaking love Sex and the City. It is top 5 my favorite show, one of my favorite shows. I literally just finished rewatching Sex and the City seasons 1 through 6, and then I watched the movies. That's what I always do. Anytime I watch Sex and the City, I always end it with the movies, and then I wanted to go rewatch season 1 of And Just Like That, which I am still gonna do, and then continue season 2. But yes, y'all, without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, y'all, so we're gonna start with, I have my notes, of course, here on my phone. I'm gonna start with episode 1. So episode 1 of season 2 started off basically with everybody walking out of their closets or bathroom into their bedrooms to their prospective lover, their prospective partner who they're with. So first, of course, we saw SJP, Miss Carrie Bradshaw, walk out, and all of the ladies are walking out in like sexy bedroom lingerie or like sexy attire, because Carrie first walks out in like a oversized sweatshirt with a little mule, of course a little heel, and she walks out. Of course, if you don't know, season 1 ended with her kissing her boss. And yeah, spoiler alert, I said it already, but spoiler alerts will be throughout this video. But her kissing her boss. So we see her walking out her bathroom into her bedroom area, and her boss is in the bed with her. Then we see, who else do we see next? We see Charlotte walking out, and then Harry's by the bed. She goes and hugs Harry from behind. And then we see Cynthia Nixon. She's in, of course, you know, she's in LA with Che. She walks out, and then we see Lisa, LTW, as Charlotte calls her, and she walks out, and Nicole Ari Parker comes out strutting, okay? She boom, 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 a nice little strut walking out the bedroom. She looks so freaking good. And then she goes, and then we see Seema, and then last but not least, we see Inaya. We see her walking out, and she walks to the TV, and she's watching a movie, and I'm like, dang, her and her husband really split up. That's what I first saw. So that's the scenes, and then they're all having sex with each of their prospective partners, and I was like, I gasped, because I'm like, yes, okay, because we saw Cynthia Nixon and Kristen Davis. We saw, you know, boobage. We saw their boobs or their breasts, tittying, and I was like, yes, titties still sitting up high, perky. I was like, yes, I love, okay? And one thing about it, we will never see SJP's breasts, okay? One thing's for certain, two things for sure. My girl had on a bra, all right? She's like, you're never gonna get it, ever. But from what I read during Sex and the City seasons 1 through 6, she signed a nudity clause that she will never show her breasts or anything, and of course it has continued now. Obviously, you know, sis is an executive producer, and she's been an executive producer since Sex and the City days, so yes. But yeah, so then, like I said, we see my girl Naya, and later on we find out, I'm gonna be jumping around, so yeah, later on we find out that her and her husband are separated-ish, because he went on tour. Of course, you know from season 1, he wants to have a baby. She's unsure, and we see that he's on tour, and because it was a part where she's at the bar by herself, and fine ass Gary Jordan comes in and tries to hit on her, and she's like, yeah, I'm married. And then she goes home, wanted to have phone sex with Andre, and he turned her down because he's in the room writing music with some songwriter, and she goes off. She's like, who's this woman? Da da da. He said he has thought about it, and then he brings up getting a surrogate, and then that pisses her off even more. So then she starts like throwing out his shit in the later of the episode. So this is the end of their relationship. I definitely knew that was gonna happen, just because you can't have a relationship, to me, especially when it comes like with kids, if one person wants to have kids and then the other person does it or is unsure. I feel like at some point you have to make a decision whether you're gonna move forward to have children, you're gonna not have children together, or y'all gonna separate. It's either or of the three options. So we see that is something that is going to end. And of course, in the preview, in the trailer, we see she's gonna try to start dating other people, so you know that's happening. I really hope they bring Gary Jordan back, because I would love to see them hook up. Like, I was like, no, his fine ass. Oh my God, fine. Next part, of course, like I told you, I'm jumping around, but we're gonna go back to the beginning where Carrie is cooking. We see my girl cooking. She's making a poached egg, okay? I gagged, okay, because her and, what's his name? Franklin, yes. That's the podcast boss. Franklin, he likes watching cooking videos, and that's their thing, to watch cooking videos in bed. So he's like, do you know how to cook? She was like, the closest thing I came to cooking is making a poached egg. He was like, well, you should try again. But we know what Carrie keeps in her kitchen. She keeps shoes and clothes in her oven, like. So she actually is cooking, which I was shook. And then we see Charlotte comes in, and Charlotte's like, well, who's this? She's like, that's because she hasn't told anybody yet that she has been sleeping with her podcast manager. And in this episode, they are getting ready to go to the Met Gala. They are getting ready to go to the Met Ball. And I was like, oh, I love how they started off the season with that. Especially, obviously, SJP being a Met Gala connoisseur, a Met Gala girl. You know, she be doing her thing at the Met Gala. So I love that they start off with that. And then, of course, LTW's character being like a fashion girl. I'm using air quotes because I feel like some of the looks that they put her in don't be hitting, but she's supposed to be like this fashion girl. So we see LTW, her plus one is her husband, and then Carrie, she is going with Seema, but then Seema ended up not being able to go because she's gonna meet her new man's child, so she didn't end up going. But then later on in the episode, he kind of pissed her off because he's still living with his ex-wife, well, in the same complex as his ex-wife. So she ended up leaving the dinner and ended up going to the Met Gala with Carrie after all. And then Charlotte, she was bringing Anthony at first, but then Harry thought he was gonna go with her because he thought he was gonna meet Rihanna. But then when he find out he's not gonna be walking the stairs, that's just for the celebrities, he backed out because he was just complaining down. I didn't blame Charlotte. She was complaining down at the end. I'm like, these pants, these shoes, that I was like, I would be like, please don't come with me. So then Anthony ended up getting disinvited, but he got re-invited when Harry couldn't go anymore. We'll talk about the Met Gala and the outfits, all that later on. So then we see more of Carrie's podcast, which, you know, it is called Sex in the City. Of course, you got to pay homage to the original. And basically in her podcast, she is giving advice to women. Women are calling in or sending in notes, and she's basically giving advice, of course, just like her column, but this time it's more her answering questions from people. And then we see Miranda and Che and their life in LA. To me, it's giving very much that Che is really not, I mean, of course, I think she likes Miranda, but I feel like Miranda is more invested than Che is. It's some parts where, like, with the hugging, and she made up this excuse, which, I mean, it could be real because people do have body dysmorphia, but she talked about her gaining weight and she don't want Miranda to hug her and all this. But to me, I don't know, I think it's low-key BS. That's how I feel. But then Miranda finds out that Che is married still, and she sent her husband to pick Miranda up from the beach. So we'll see how that develops for the rest of the season. So then we also see the relationship or lack of relationship between Carrie and Franklin. Carrie wants to keep it very just, let's have sex on Thursdays. We're gonna meet up and that's it. She don't want anything serious. But later on, we find out that Franklin does want something serious and he wants more from Carrie. So he kind of makes it clear of what he wants, and then Carrie made it clear what she wanted, and it was very much an easy split. Like Carrie was like, this is what I want. If you don't want that, then deuces. Like, so she's very much standing her ground, very much not falling like the Carrie from Sex and the City days, like really just falling in. She's like really just going with the flow. Of course, she just, you know, she's going through big dying, and she's just taking her time, which I like that. And then there was one part where, because we have, oh my god, what's his name? Jackie. Yes, the Asian guy, Jackie. His wife is making, she's an upcoming designer, and she's making Carrie's dress for the Met Gala, because Carrie says she wants to have an upcoming designer do her dress. So then she comes over and she compliments Carrie's kimono, and we get a Stanford mention. She's like, oh, my friend Stanford sent this to me from Japan. And I was like, ah, rest in peace to my guy. Because, of course, you know, what's his name? Oh, God, I forgot his name right now. I forgot his name. Willie Garson. Yes, he passed away in 2021 during the filming of season 1 of And Just Like That. And so, but they still kept the character Stanford alive, which I like. And we, you know, we're gonna hear the little mentions of him, so I think that is cute. So then we get to the part now we can talk about the outfits, where the dress comes over, the girl, I forgot her name, her seamstress messed up, so now she has to fix Carrie's dress. She has 6 hours to fix Carrie's dress before the Met Gala. The dress was not gonna be fixed in time, so the one thing that she did have was a fire blue cape, and she was like, I'm sure you have something in your closet that could go with this cape. Carrie was like, okay, I think I have something, but I only wore it once. I already knew what it was. As soon as she said it, I was like, okay, because the cape was blue. And then I was like, I remember the bird feather she wore her head in Sex and the City, the movie, and that was blue. So I'm like, yeah, this is the moment where she pulled out the Vivienne Westwood wedding dress. And she pulled out the Vivienne Westwood wedding dress with the cape, the blue bird, the glove. She looks so freaking good, okay? And I was saying this, I was watching an interview with SJP, and I'm like, my girl has not put on a pound, okay? Because for her to still fit in these pieces, she's still fitting in these dresses and the stuff. I'm like, yes, because she fit in this dress, and then remember season 1 of And Just Like That, she fit in the dress from when she went to Paris, and she was in that big gown with Alexander Petrovsky. I'm like, my girl still has not gained a pound, and I love it. I love that she's still fitting in these couture pieces, and I live. So that was what she wore to the Met Gala. And then Lisa's dress, she had this red dress, and then she walked because she forgot to get the car. She couldn't fit, so she walked. The scene where she's walking and the train is like flowing in the air was so freaking fire. Like, that scene was so good. But yeah, that's how the ending of the episode was. They went to the Met Gala. For me, I can definitely say episode 1 of season 2 felt like Sex and the City. Like, it felt like a fresh Sex and the City. Not to say that season 1 didn't feel that way, but I feel like season 2 might be better. And I'm gonna say season 2 from episode 1, it feels like Sex and the City, but them, of course, a little revamped, adding in the new friends, them older, of course, but it gave me a Sex and the City nostalgic vibe. And again, not to say season 1 did it, but I still felt like something was missing in season 1. Even though I like season 1, I still felt like something was missing. This episode, and I saw somebody tweeted it too, this episode felt like, if you're a Sex and the City fan, you know what I mean. It gave me a Sex and the City vibe. That's how I felt with it compared to season 2, episode 2. Episode 2 was a little draggy for me, just because I felt like they focused so much. They dragged out the thing with Charlotte's daughter, Lily's dress. I felt like they dragged it out with the Chanel dress. And what else? I have some notes for episode 2, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. And we find out that the podcast is over because Carrie didn't want to do this vaginal commercial. One part I would say, Seema's, that leopard outfit that she wore was so good. It was a monochromatic leopard look. So good. Then we see LTW, her mother-in-law comes. Her mother-in-law is a stuck-up bougie woman, and I hate it. She gets on my nerves, especially the two parts where Herbert was trying to get a cab for him, his daughter, and her friend, and the cab driver did not open because, of course, you know, he's black, and that happens in New York. I've heard many of people say that the cab did not stop for them because they were black, so that's a true thing. And then the mom was coming down with her friends, her sorority sisters, and one of the sorority sisters was like, "Isn't that your Herbert?" And she's like, "No, no," and she rushed them off, like, and then kind of brushed off the whole racism thing, and I didn't like that. She brushed it off, and then she made this comment about Nicole, well, LTW, wearing a headscarf. Like, girl, I'm gonna put on my headscarf, I'm gonna put on my bonnet before I go to bed, okay? So her character, I hope by the end of this season, her and LTW make a better relationship, or she like calms down on the stuck-upness. I don't care for her. Yeah, I pretty much talked about it. Trey's ex-husband was revealed. Well, husband. Franklin breaks it off with Carrie. See, I combine both episodes together because for me, once I watch a whole season, it's one episode for me. And then the last thing I want to mention, we had a mention of Harry's mom, and he mentioned that his mom died 10 years ago. And of course, me, when I watched it, I was like, now, please. And just like that, writers, you cannot trick me. You cannot trick the Sex and the City fans. You cannot write stuff like this not knowing that we are going to pick it up. We know Harry's mom died before him and Charlotte got together. And him and Charlotte got together in 2002. Okay? Yes, I know the dates. Him and Charlotte got together in 2002. And then he said, he said my mom, because when he said he can't marry someone that's not a Jew. And then that's when him and Charlotte first got together. And she was like, oh, in her, remember like the ad-lib, she was like, oh, I have to deal with another mother. And he's like, well, that was my mom's dying wish or whatever. So we knew his mom died prior to 2003, 2002. So for y'all to come in here and be like 10 years ago, do not play with me. Okay? Don't play. And then I went on Twitter and I saw other Sex and the City fans commenting that, because we know we've already picked up what you was putting down. But episode 1 was definitely better than episode 2. Last thing I'm going to talk about is Kim Cattrall's new show, which is crazy that it premiered on the same day. We have Just Like That season 2, and then we have Kim Cattrall's new show. It's called Glamorous, and it is on Netflix. I have started it. I'm on episode 4. And yeah, of course I was gonna watch it. I saw Kim Cattrall. I'm gonna click on it, and she's giving very much boss lady, and I live. And you know, that's the character that she played on Sex and the City. It was very like boss bitch, and that's what she's playing on this character as it's similar to this character, but she runs like a makeup brand, a makeup empire. She was a former model. But yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a cute show. Definitely check it out on Netflix. There's 10 episodes. I'm definitely gonna finish by the end of the weekend with the episodes. But yes, check it out. You know, support the girls. I'm gonna support my girls. But yeah, excited to see the rest of the season and see where it's going to go. And of course, excited to see Kim Cattrall's Samantha cameo at the end of this season. And of course, to see Aiden pop up. There's gonna be, I feel like the season is gonna be good, but they just gotta tighten it up with the little things, like with the Harry situation and all that. Like, you can't be writing stuff like that knowing that we already know that. Yeah, that kind of annoyed me. Low-key, that kind of annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie. But yes, y'all, I will see you guys in the next video. Of course, comment down below. Let me know what you think of episode 1, episode 2 of And Just Like That. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my social medias to see more. Like the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, love,